I've coached over 1,000 sales reps, setters, closers, managers, across the board, and I've seen people go from barely scraping by at 3, 5, 10K a month to making more in a week than most people make in an entire year. And I've also seen plenty of reps stay stuck in the exact same spot, blaming the exact same things year after year after year. And you want to know the truth? The top 1% closers are not smarter than you. They're not genetically gifted. They're not predisposed to sales. They just do some things radically different than average people. And so in this video, I'm going to break down the 6 things that top reps do differently from the average and bottom performers so that you can stop plateauing, close more deals, and start building the kind of income and the life that you actually want. So if you're new here, hi, my name is Christian Jack. Over the last 3 years, I've generated over $100 million in sales across multiple industries: high ticket coaching, software, insurance, tech, you name it. I've been the top closer on 9 offers at the same exact time. I've built sales teams. I've coached over 1,000 reps, some of whom are making over 100 grand per month consistently. And in that time, I've noticed a few patterns. And that's the most important word: patterns. The top reps that I've coached share certain habits, certain mindsets, certain behaviors, certain patterns that literally keep them at the top month after month, while average reps just kind of spin their wheels. And of course, if you are returning to the channel, thank you so much. I'm honored. I got another banger for you here today. So the first thing that top reps do differently is they hunt feedback relentlessly. All right. Most of the people that are average or below average, or even just a little bit above average, they avoid discomfort. They avoid feedback because, let's be honest, most of the time when you get a piece of feedback from a call that you could have improved, something happened, maybe you didn't handle the objection the right way, the feedback is usually a little bit uncomfortable. And so these average and lower tier reps just avoid that feedback. They hide from role plays. They don't want their calls reviewed, and they just hope that nobody really notices their weak spots. Whereas the top performers, the ones that I coach, they chase that discomfort. There's literally a video inside of the Sales Dojo called Fail More, and they take all of that to heart, right? They bring their toughest calls into their huddles day to day. They ask for reviews on the most shit calls that they run week to week because they understand that if they can raise their lowest hanging fruit, then they're going to improve, right? Their worst day becomes not so bad. Their best day may stay the same, but their worst day isn't as bad. They DM me or their other coaches every single day with, hey, can you look at this objection handle? How could I have done this better? They plan their coaching sessions, right? I run one-on-ones with some of the best in the space. And I also coach some of the not so best in the space. My one-on-one students come with questions, 20, 30 of them per 30-minute or hour-long session, right? They plan their sessions coming in with specific questions, not just like, little baby bird, feed me, mama. Like that, I can't tell you how much that just bugs me because you really don't want to win if you're just coming in, not having any questions, not prepared, not wondering, and not knowing what your lowest hanging fruit is, not knowing where you can improve. Because inside the Sales Dojo, our top performers will treat call reviews like game film. And this is something that I think a lot of remote sales reps just completely take for granted. What other job can you have in your life where you can actually review game film? What job? Show me one. It is rare to be able to record your interactions and actually go back and view them. So why don't you? Imagine somebody else in a high performing job or sport or whatever that doesn't get the opportunity to review game film. If you told them that they got the opportunity to, I guarantee you that they would do it 10 times more than you. Guarantee it. So if you already know in the back of your mind that like whenever there's a role play or a call review, or let's just say a specific call that you're hoping somebody doesn't see, like you already know what you need to do. Go ahead, put it in front of somebody that knows what they're doing, let them roast you a little bit, but give you valuable feedback so that that doesn't happen again. Now, number 2, I know is pretty overused in the sales space, but it's 100% true. If you've played sports at a high level, you understand this better than most. Top performers treat sales like a sport, all right? Most reps train by taking calls. And that's it. That's all that they do is they look at their calls. Maybe they even review their calls after the day's over. And like that's step 1, right? That's better than a lot of people. But just taking calls and reviewing them, like that's like if you imagine an NBA player saying, I will practice during the games. Like what the fuck do you mean you're going to practice during the games? You're off the team, right? The top reps drill more than they perform. And I know this is going to blow some people's minds and this is going to really piss piss off some of the other like sales trainers in the space that say, oh, you just need to get your reps by taking more calls. Screw that. Calls are sacred. Calls are expensive. Calls have the opportunity to make you money. And if you are not making money on them, then you are literally losing it. I would rather take a call with a prospect who is 14, 21 days old rather than a brand new one if I know that in those 14 to 21 days, I'm going to raise my close rate by another 20% because I'm practicing those entire 14 to 21 days. Because that means every call that I take after that is going to be so much better and so much higher likelihood for me to actually make money from it rather than just like wasting my time, my energy, because those are things that you cannot get back. All right, the top reps, I guarantee you, I've done this so much, I rehearse my word tracks in the shower. I will rehearse my word tracks while I'm out on a walk with my wife to the point that my wife knows how to handle objections now, and she's never been in sales in her entire life. Practice until you gain unconscious competence. And if you haven't heard of this before, it's 4 quadrants. All right. Imagine a square with 4 sections. Section 1 is unconscious incompetence. You don't know that you suck. That's usually people who start to get into sales and they just like have a regular old conversation. And then they realize there's a thing called an objection, right? Then at that point, you gain conscious incompetence. You now realize that you suck, which is good. It's progress. It means that you can now practice. So then you can become consciously competent, which means you know what you're doing, you're practicing it, you're getting better at it. But then the last level becomes unconscious competence. This is where you don't have to think about it anymore, right? You give a soccer ball to a Premier League player, they're not going to like just suck. They are unconsciously competent. They don't have to think about dribbling. They don't have to think about striking. They don't have to think about crossing. It happens automatically. If you ask me how to handle a think about it objection, I don't have to think about it at all. It is so ingrained in my head, and in top reps, it's the same exact thing until you start using it in normal conversation. It's wild. My wife will notice when I start using sales stuff in our regular old conversations when we're, going out to eat with somebody else and I want to know more about them. I start asking probing and clarifying questions and start doing option closes, and it's so ingrained that it is unconsciously competent, right? Think Steph Curry. Over 2 million practice shots in his career. 2 million practice shots. Can you tell me how many actual shots he's taken in a game? I guarantee you it's fewer than you might think. It's 3,600. Around the recording of this video, 3,600 like actual real shots taken in a game, but he practiced over 2 million shots. That's less than a little more than 1%. All right. Think about that. His real game time is 1% of how much he practices. Top reps are just crushing average reps on the phone in the Zoom meeting because they are practicing on the phone, in the shower, walking to the gym, before bed, until it is completely automatic. Now, number 3 reason that top reps outperform average and bottom reps is because they obsess over lost deals. All right, most sales reps lose a deal and instantly will blame the lead or the marketing or the prospect's lack of financial qualification. Maybe they'll blame the setter, or they don't even blame anything and they just don't even fucking care. I can tell you with 100% certainty that the top reps lose a deal and ask, where did I lose them? What question did I not ask? What question should I not have asked that I, maybe did instead? What micro shift could have changed the outcome completely? They watch every no sale back, sometimes multiple times, looking for patterns. And those are the calls that they ask for reviews for incessantly, right? And they fix it so that they never lose for the same reason twice. If I were to ask you the last call that you lost, that you didn't make a sale, maybe it's a follow-up instead of a close, whatever, what was the reason? What was the real reason? All right, if you're truly honest with yourself for a second, what was the real reason you lost that sale? Why it didn't close? And then if you're even more honest with yourself, if you really want to win, you have to learn to ask, when was the last time I lost a deal to that? Was it yesterday? Was it the day before? Was it last week? How many times have you lost a deal to that? How many times? If it's more than 3, maybe 5, why? Why? And I'm going to say something that may sting you here. Why are you so lazy that you are losing to the same thing that many times? You're smarter than that. You're stronger than that. You understand what makes a sale and what doesn't make a sale. And yet you choose to not do what you need to do. You choose to not learn what you need to learn. You choose to practice. You choose not to practice what you need to practice, right? Fix it so you never lose to the same reason twice, all right? One of my one-on-one students just recently went from a 28 5% close rate to over 80%. Over 80% just by doing one thing. He started watching every no sale for 30 days and submitting every no sale for me to review in our one-on-ones so that we could actually tweak his questions, review, fix the reasons why he's losing the deals, and that's it. Like, it's okay if you lose one deal because of one mistake that you did. But if you keep making that simple mistake, that is literally the definition of insanity. Doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results. Number 4, they control their energy and their routine. Now, this is straight out of the energy management training that I teach inside of the Sales Dojo, because skill without state, without energy is completely fucking useless, all right? Top reps have pre-call rituals. They manage their calendar ruthlessly, and they show up to every call in the same exact state, whether the last one was a huge win or a complete disaster. Right? Most people, I can't tell you how much they just truly underestimate the importance of your state when you're taking a sales call, when you are just living life in general, all right? Average people, let's just not even talk about sales right now. Average people with a really solid state can get whatever they want in their life without ever learning influence or sales or persuasion. They will 100% beat out a person who has done a lot of sales, influence, persuasion training, whose mind is not in the right place. Their consciousness level is in survival mode, whose beliefs are not those that line up with success, who lacks passion, who lacks energy, who lacks focus, who lacks excitement, who lacks emotional mastery. Average sales reps will let their emotional state bleed from one call to the next, over and over, day after day, week after week, month after month, year after year. And that's why so many people just stay exactly where they are at 5, 7, 10, 15K a month, and they never actually break through it. There is one student in the dojo that comes to mind. His name is Joe. He completely broke past his old records by just learning to not care. All right. And I don't mean not care about the prospect. He cares about the prospect, but not caring about the commission. And it sounds so simple, and it's so easy to just say, oh, get rid of the commission breath. It's okay if it doesn't close. But once we actually met in person and, he got a sense of my energy in person is usually the best way to do this. Honestly, if you can meet somebody who's truly like this in person, if you can meet with them day to day, even online, but especially in person, everything will change for you because you can sense somebody's energy when you're talking to them. You've been on a sales call before with somebody who is locked in, who's passionate, who knows exactly who they need to be in order to help you. But you've also been on a sales call before with somebody who doesn't know any of that and who is just completely out of state, who wants the commissions, and you know the difference. You've seen it. So most people really underestimate the importance of their state when they're taking a sales call. And I can tell you with complete confidence that top reps learn to reset between their calls instantly. All right. They know that a 4 p.m. prospect doesn't give a shit if your 1 p.m. prospect hung up on you. Now, reason number 5 that top reps do so much better is they take extreme ownership. All right, no excuses, no marketing's fault, no, my manager didn't give me, the good leads, whatever. Top reps own all of their numbers. They understand their confirm rate, their show rate, their close rate, their pipeline health, how much revenue they actually have in the pipeline, their deal velocity. And if they have a low number, they fix it. All right, they actually work to fix it. They don't just sit there and wonder. They employ a potential solution, let it run for enough to gain a proper data set and a proper sample size, and then they evaluate. If it worked, great. Let's keep doing it or improve it even more. If it didn't work, let's try again. But they're methodical about it. Structure and consistency was one of the things that one of my first sales mentors ever taught me, and it's a big reason why I grew so quickly because I had structure and I was consistent. When you find a problem with your numbers, fucking fix it. All right. If you have white space on the calendar, you self-set. If you have a low show rate, call your goddamn leads and confirm, right? Act like the CEO of your own sales business, even if you're just a closer, because nothing changes if nothing changes. And I swear to God, I have seen too many sales reps just not make proper money because they don't understand this. No excuses. right? It's not marketing's fault. It's not your manager's fault. It's not your setter's fault. It's yours. Own your numbers and see what you can do to fix some things. And if you don't know what kind of numbers you should have, then maybe you should get in a room where you can learn that, because it's super simple. All right, now last but not least, number 6 is top reps work the long game. I can't tell you how often I talk to a sales rep who's making 5, 10, 15K a month, and they come to me, they say, Christian, I feel like I'm just resetting every month, and I feel like I'm on a hamster wheel. And they are. That's exactly what I tell them, because the top reps build pipelines that feed them for months, years. Referrals, past clients, offer stacking so that they're never dependent on one source of leads. And even within that offer stacking, sometimes things that pay them recurring, right? So that when one offer slows down, they're still making money because they've set up multiple streams without burning themselves out. When the marketing goes down, the ad account gets shut down, or the Instagram account gets hacked or something, right? They have a pipeline of referrals. They have a pipeline of upsells, of bumps, of literally there's so much opportunity within your offer already that I guarantee are not making the most of. This is how you stop living from commission check to commission check, from month to month, from week to week. And this is how you actually start building a compounding income, right? If we look at some of my one-on-one students, they came in making 30, 40K a month, which is good money. Like let's be real, that's good money. But it was month to month. It reset every single month. And yeah, they maybe had like 5 to 7 grand coming in each month from pipeline, but it wasn't the majority of their income. And so we needed to actually set up a plan so that they compounded month over month, so that instead of just 5 to 7K of pipeline, it jumped up to 7 to 10. And 10 to 15, and then 10 to 20. And now one of them in particular that I'm thinking of has 45 grand a month in recurring income that will pay him out for the next 12 to 16 months. He can just not work for a year and make 500 grand. Can you say that? Probably not. So the question is, how do you actually create this? You need to build up your pipeline, but not just your front end pipeline, your back end pipeline. Truly great sales reps, ones who want to have predictable recurring income, work the front end and the back end. So the front end is new calls, it's outbounding, it's self-setting, it's all your no-shows, your reschedules, your cancellations, etc. And then the back end is people that you've already pitched, okay? Whether it be you pitched them and they didn't close, whether you pitched them and it was follow-up, whether you pitched them and they were a burned lead because you went too hard in the paint, whatever it might be. But then also after they close, referrals, right? Upsells. If your company doesn't have an upsell, get with the owner and fucking create one. I can't tell you how many times I was on an offer and the owner did not have an upsell. I just sat down with him and said, hey, how can we create an upsell? Because it's literally free money that is just not here. And you can probably make an extra 20 grand, 30 grand, 50 grand, 100 grand a pop. I just need something to sell them, right? You don't even have to do a ton of fulfillment. It can just be one-on-ones with you. I don't care. But let's sit down and actually create it. And then when we did, I now had an upsell and I started making a lot more money. So upsells are really big. Referrals as well are part of the back-end pipeline. You need to call every single person that you've closed today and ask them for referrals. And you should call them just about every day after you close them. I would have a recurring flywheel, if you will, of 15 to 20 people that I would call every single day for referrals until they gave me a referral. Sometimes multiple, right? And it doesn't have to be weird. You literally just call them up and say, hey, John, how you doing? It's referral time. Who you got? And they'll laugh and they'll probably give you somebody. So don't overcomplicate it. This stuff is super duper simple if you allow it to be. And if you have never heard of any of this, I get this might sound a little complicated. So if you really want to learn it, hit the link down in the description below and join the Sales Dojo. I'll teach you all of it for 7 days for free, and then you can decide if you'd like to stay in after that. All right, so now let's recap. Number 1, hunt feedback relentlessly. Number 2, treat sales like a sport. Number 3, obsess over your lost deals more than your won deals. Number 4, control your energy and your routines. Number 5, take extreme ownership. And lastly, number 6, build for the long game. Now, if you treat these like nice to haves, these are things that separate the 5, 10, 15K a month reps from the 50 to 100, 150K a month reps. And the crazy part is that they are all learnable habits. But the question is, are you actually going to implement them? Most people I see will implement them for a day or two, maybe a week, but then they just like fall off. And so if that's you, if you want to have a higher level of accountability to implement all of these things, if you want to shortcut all the trial and error, if you want to plug into the exact frameworks and get live feedback from me and other top closers every single week, that's exactly what we do inside the Sales Dojo. You can join for free for the first 7 days, coaching calls, call reviews, scripts, the same tools that I used at 100K a month and that all of my 100K a month clients use. So link is down in the description below. Don't wait another 6 months wondering why you're not getting better results. Join today and you'll be on the path to the top 1%.